I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Donald Trump threw a humiliating New Year's party at Mar-A-Lago, if you even want to call it that. This New Year's event featured people like Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump, and a bunch of the other cult members. And Donald Trump began by letting the media know that he would be available to answering questions, but no cable news network responded. Nobody showed up. The only people that were there were the radical right, extremist, kind of cult media that just follows him around like Right Side Broadcast Network. And Donald Trump, as he's walking in, he thinks he's going to be greeted by all of these cable news cameras. He's not. And he starts saying that he's going to answer questions. He takes about 3 or 4 questions before getting utterly frustrated and annoyed, and then walks into the event. And the questions that he's asked, even by the right-wing cult media that's there, are questions about Ron DeSantis and DeSantis's COVID vaccine investigation, which in and of itself is beyond strange and dangerous, but we'll save that for another video. Donald Trump's asked about total abortion bans. He doesn't answer that question. He's asked a question about the January 6th committee. He doesn't answer that question. The thing that he does answer before going into the ballroom before the event is he answers a question about the FBI. He says that the FBI's politicization is a disgrace because the FBI executed a valid search warrant and found that he was stealing thousands of government records. Donald Trump and MAGA has launched a full-fledged attack on the FBI and the Department of Justice, calling for the FBI to be abolished, calling for laws regarding espionage to be abolished, and the same for the Department of Justice. And the other question that Donald Trump responded to, or perhaps just brought up on his own, was that he believes that we shouldn't be supporting Ukraine at all, basically, again, spitting out Russian propaganda for Vladimir Putin. And then what Donald Trump says, we need to seriously be looking into, we need to look into it. We need to look into Ukraine. We need to look into inflation. We got to look strongly into it, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no plans. And the only things that he does know how to do is actually harm and destroy our country. So he just says, we need to look into it strongly. Here, let's play this clip of Donald Trump walking out on this red carpet. He thinks there's going to be a ton of media there, but there's absolutely not a single cable news network, no Fox, not even Newsmax or OAN was there. Here, play this clip.
Here comes the president and first lady walking up right now.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Hopefully it'll be a great year for everybody, including yourselves. And I hope you enjoy yourselves at Mar-A-Lago. And say tomorrow. Any questions?
Do you believe that DeSantis should be investigated because vaccines that your administration talked about?
Well, so,
What are your hopes for America in 2023, Mr. President?
well, peace. We should have never been involved with a certain war that's taking place right now. That's really hurting a lot of, killing a lot of people, but hurting a lot of countries. And hopefully that'll get straightened out very quickly with Ukraine and Russia. We have to have that. We have to have a strong border, very importantly. We have to have a strong border. We have to have it now. Our country is being very gravely hurt. And we have to bring back the economy. We have to get rid of inflation. It's destroying our country.
Would you support a national abortion ban like the one that was
Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, the DOJ and FBI have weaponized against you. Will you commit to going after them in your second term?
I think it's a disgrace what's happened with the FBI and with the weaponization of justice. There's never been anything like this, and it is disgraceful. And thank you for that question.
How are you feeling about the campaign?
Well, I think very good. You know, campaigns really, you're talking about almost 2 years, but I think very good. I think we're doing really well. I saw poll numbers just today that were fantastic, and I think we're going to do well. We're going to make America great again. Very simple. We're going to make America
Mr.
great.
President, as a new Congress attorney, what's your border business legal?
I think we have to look at the borders and we have to look at inflation very quickly. We have to stop the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Any New Year's resolutions for you and the First Lady?
Well, we have a great relationship. We've gotten along very well from day one, and we're going to keep it that way. Thank you.
And then inside the event, you have people like Rudy Giuliani doing selfies of themselves here. I'll show you this for a second. This is Rudy Giuliani at the event. Then Donald Trump makes his entrance, and just as you're watching this entrance, here we'll play the clip. Just like look how lonely and sad. Actually, it would be sad if he wasn't a traitor, horrible human being, but like it's just such a depressing mood in there. Here, play the clip. Just so utterly strange and bizarre. And then Donald Trump takes the stage and he starts giving another speech, very low energy, small crowd. And the speech that he gives, he just talks about, because all he knows is what he watches on TV. And because of the problems that Southwest had during the winter storm, by the way, that Southwest acted completely improperly. And by the way, that's why the Department of Transportation and the Secretary Pete Buttigieg is looking into it and actually doing things to take action, because under Donald Trump's Department of Transportation, they literally just let businesses self-regulate themselves, and they appointed executives who believe there should absolutely be no oversight, no regulation at all, which is what leads to some of these systemic problems, which are now being fixed and actually dealt with people who are actual leaders. But in Donald Trump's speech, like the one thing he wants to talk about is he's saying people can't even fly anymore. The people can't even get on airplanes. I mean, just totally misrepresents the situation because of the fact that Southwest engaged in serious problems during the bad winter storm. Donald Trump's whole thing is no one could fly anymore, just because he gaslights and lies about everything. Here, play the clip.
We're watching a war raging. We're watching nuclear weapons talked about all the time. We're watching inflation going through the roof. All of these things that we're watching, and so unnecessary and so sad to see. Now we have airports where people can't fly. The only good thing is, frankly, from this standpoint, we needed some seats, so we lost about 50. We sold about 200 extra. So, but it's sad when people can't come from New York to Florida. The airports are we're like a third world country.
And of course, it wouldn't be a New Year's without Donald Trump posting some reprehensible thing on his social media platform. And so here's what he posted on his social media platform. While Americans were celebrating with their families, Americans were celebrating with friends and colleagues, and bringing in the new year with positivity, Donald Trump spreading hate and spreading just these horrible messages. And this is what Donald Trump posted. He goes, "Happy New Year to all of the radical left Democrats, Marxist lunatics, China-loving Coco Chow and her obedient husband, Mitch, and clueless rhinos who are working so hard to destroy our great country. More importantly, Happy New Year to the incredible, brave, and strong American patriots who built, love, and cherish America. And then he puts this in caps, real leaders of our country will always remain, puts this in capital, faithful, and this is in caps as well, loyal to you. The USA will be back bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And then he puts this in caps, God bless you all. And so just another xenophobic attempt to divide our country. I mean, saying horrible things about Mitch McConnell's wife, who worked for him, who worked in his administration. Again, attacking Republicans, calling them rhinos, because if you don't believe in the Donald Trump cult, if you don't go out to Mar-A-Lago and literally kiss the ring, then you are a rhino. If you don't support these despicable conspiracy theories, if you don't support QAnon, if you don't support insurrectionists and call them political prisoners, if you don't spread pandemic conspiracy theories, If you don't do all of those types of things, you are now a rhino. You are not a MAGA Republican. And by the way, the House of Representatives led by MAGA Republicans. This is just who the Republican Party is today. But whereas, a real leaders would call for unity, bringing the country together, spreading love, wishing people a happy new year, you have Donald Trump saying these things. But you have him completely isolated. According to a number of his advisors, he's shocked and surprised that large cable networks are not showing up at his media availability announcements like at the Mar-A-Lago event. And he feels completely isolated. And 2023 is the year where he is going to be held accountable. 2023 is the year where I have a great degree of confidence that Special Counsel Jack Smith is going to indict the Manhattan District Attorney is going to indict. We now have Donald Trump's tax returns, and we see all the criminality in there, his failure to pay taxes, him paying more taxes in China than he paid in the United States of America. We see all of the tax schemes that he would run to avoid paying taxes. We see that he lied about giving charitable donations like he did in 2020, when in fact he gave no such charitable donations. We're beginning to see the fraudulent deductions that he took, and we're seeing it in very specific detail. And then we have Special Counsel Jack Smith, who I think there's going to be a lot of action taking place in January of 2023. Donald Trump knows that. I think Donald Trump's family knows that. This will be a year of accountability. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. In addition, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. We've got great exclusive content you can only get at our Patreon site, but most importantly, help grow this independent media platform. That's Patreon, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.